Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be, what was the final boundary crossed? Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So boundaries, this is something that the narcissist does not want you to have. They didn't want you to have boundaries in the past. They definitely don't now, and they never will in the future. Flip it. The narcissist is full of boundaries. They don't tell you much about them. You never know where they are, who they're with, what they are doing. The narcissist plays so many games, including the texting games, the waiting games, the drama games, the manipulating games. But the narcissist also plays the boundary games. Now, what that means is, when you were in that relationship, first of all, you didn't know that they were a narcissist. You weren't taught narcissism 101 in school, but you figured out after a period of time, usually after the love bomb / euphoric stage, that things had shifted in that relationship. You two were not equal any longer, no matter what you thought. You were becoming subservient to them. They were grooming you. They were manipulating you. They were trapping you. They were teaching you how to behave. You did not have a voice when you were in that relationship, specifically post-love bomb / euphoric stage, because the narcissist didn't want to hear about it. And go back in time, in the beginning, again, of the narcissistic relationship that you were a part of. Everything seemed almost too good to be true, because why? That's right, because it was too good to be true. Anytime you're in a relationship, friendship, romance, colleague, coworker, neighbor, person in a community, hobby, group you're a part of, whatever, however you meet these people, if something seems too good to be true, it usually is. You really need to play that part of the message a few times. Think about in the old days when we used to go to buy used cars from a used car salesman. Well, that person, they would usually sell us a jalopy or a lemon, or something that had 3 tires and the 4th one was missing, but we thought we just got the best deal on the planet. So as soon as we tried to drive the car off the lot, we couldn't do it. And where was the used car salesman? As soon as he got the money, he was nowhere to be found. Well, that's the narcissist right there in a nutshell. No disrespect to used car salesmen. We need everybody, but the narcissist is similar to that. They are nowhere to be found when you need them. But yet when they need you, they expect you to drop everything on a dime and be at their beck and call. And when you were in the relationship with them, when you were in the devaluation stage and you were existing, you weren't living, you were existing, and you were becoming a shell of yourself. You lost your sense of self. You lost your identity to the narcissist, and you now know this. Back then you didn't know it because you didn't know what you were up against, but when that happened, you were being decimated. Your resources were being taken from you, again, which include your time, money, energy, effort, love, empathy, your health, your status. You are enduring and experiencing the smear campaign. And again, for people on the channel that maybe this is your first video you're consuming, you may be scratching your head. What is the smear campaign? What is that? Well, it's kind of like it sounds. It's when the narcissist is telling flat out lies about you. They're spreading untruths about you. They're trying to drive wedges between you and anything that matters to you. You and your hobbies, you and your own family, you and your children, you and your hopes, dreams, aspirations, you and the improvement of your circumstances. This is what the narcissist does. It's what they were doing when you were in the relationship, and it's what they're doing right now with the new supply or other people that they are surrounding themselves with. Because the narcissist is an opportunist. They're always looking for opportunities in people, specifically people who haven't healed or people who are clean slates, which means they have not encountered the juggernaut, the narcissist, firsthand. And those people, at one point that was you, that certainly was me, those people, they have a very challenging road ahead of them. But then again, so does anybody who is in a narcissistic relationship, because if you don't know what the signs are, you don't know what the definitions in the glossary and the terms are in the narcissistic abusive cycle, you are helpless. You don't know what you're up against, and you're believing that the person that you're in the relationship with, who turned out to be a narcissist, had your best interest at heart. They didn't, they don't, and they never will. That is why so frequently on the channel I suggest that people go no contact, block the narcissist, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you can't develop, create, and execute an exit plan in your time. This will take patience, it will take courage, resilience, fortitude, strength, commitment, and it will be a very, very well thought out plan, the exit plan. But you're gonna have to do this, because 1 minute in a narcissistic relationship, once you've identified that that's the kind of relationship you are and or were a part of, is 1 minute too long. Exit plans are something that I specialize in. I would strongly suggest, if you're in a relationship and you're looking to exit it, play this part of the video a few times. But back when you were in that relationship and you didn't know what you were up against, your boundaries were being decimated, and then narcissists knew this. That's why they took you for granted. That's why you became the unpaid helper. That's why you became the walk-in apology. That's why you were the sounding board. That's why you were the person who was regulating the narcissist. That's why you were the person who put them high up on a pedestal to the detriment of yourself. That's why you let everything go. That's why you probably were behind on paying your bills, but you were definitely paying the narcissist bills. Or you mounted up a lot of credit card debt when you never had credit card debt in your life, because the narcissist was pressing on the gas pedal of abuse, and they would never be satiated. There is not enough money on the planet. There is not enough time. There aren't enough people for the narcissist to ever be satiated. They are on a constant search, a constant quest for the next new shiny object, a person who doesn't have boundaries, a person who doesn't know their value, a person who is a people pleaser, a person who can't say no, the strongest word in the English language. That's what they do. They look for people just like that, or recycled sources of supply who haven't found that needle in a haystack and certainly haven't healed. That is why, again, when you block the narcissist or toxic people in general, you're sending a clear, succinct message to them that you want nothing to do with them. You don't explain, you don't defend, you don't call them out. You don't do anything other than protect and insulate yourself. You stay in that cocoon of boundaries and you begin to heal. And you understand that it will take time, but in your time you will heal. Specifically if you utilize all the tools that are provided for you on this channel and in the community. And then one day, my hope is you have reached, or you will reach, the pinnacle of indifference. The mountaintop of indifference, where you no longer care about the narcissist or anybody from that period of time, because you have now elevated and you have now ascended. You are such a higher vibrational person than the narcissist. You've always been that way. It's just that the narcissist captured you for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship, and they kept you stuck in that low vibrational state where they exist, and that's where they wanted you existing, and they wanted to break your boundaries. They wanted to break your soul. They wanted to break your spirit. They wanted to break your beliefs in yourself. They wanted to break your belief in humanity, and they almost did this. They came within milliseconds of doing it, but they didn't. They failed, and they failed miserably again, because here you are in the community. You're paying it forward. You're getting your cup full. You're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third, and you will no longer tolerate poor behavior from the narcissist, from an energy vampire, or from anybody who does not have your best interest at heart. And at the top of that list, of course, is the narcissist. Now, all these things I'm mentioning and sharing with you, they culminate to the question, which is the thumbnail. What was the final boundary that was broken? Well, I'll tell you what it was. It was probably something when you called out the narcissist. Now, I'm not saying you called them a narcissist. I'm saying you probably questioned something. You probably were catching on to the scent of the narcissist. You were getting on the trail of discovering and figuring out who they were. You were getting a little too close for their taste, if you will. And you said something to them. Maybe something like, I didn't sign up for this. Or we are married, but you're treating me like a roommate. So you went from romance to roommate. Or you ask them why they're staying out late so long, or why they're going away on all the guys' weekends, or why they're going away on all the girls' weekends, or why they're not spending time with the kids. Whatever you did something. And that alerted the narcissist, and they said to themselves in their tiny little pea brain, they said, oh my gosh, this one's catching on. The mask isn't working like it used to. This person's actually, they're getting closer, figuring out who I am. I only have two options. One is to lay on the abuse more, discard them, and then I'm gonna have the new supply step up in the big leagues, because they're being groomed and trained in the minor leagues right now. I don't think I'm quite ready for that. Oh, I know what I'll do, is I will give them a little dose of the love bomb / euphoric stage and get them back in line and get them off the scent of who I am. That will buy me more time to bring the minor leaguer new supply up to the big leagues. Then when I'm ready, I will discard you, the person watching the video, or me. And when that happened, then you would say to yourself, wait, you were catching on, but wait, you just had a great weekend. You had a fun weekend, and it was almost as if everything was erased. It was almost as if you had forgotten all of the discoveries that you were figuring out, because the narcissist does know what they're doing. If anyone thinks that they don't, think again. They put their clothes on the exact same way that you do. They breathe the same air, etc. But when you're getting too close to figuring out who the narcissist is, specifically when you're in the relationship, the narcissist will do one of those two things. They will either discard you, or they will string you around longer because they didn't get everything they want from you, or maybe they are about to get everything they want from you, but they still need a source of supply to bring up from the minor leagues up to the big leagues. And I'm saying that a couple times because this is what they do. It's a loop. The narcissistic abusive cycle just goes around in a loop. And it's love bomb / euphoric stage, Devaluation, discard, and at times a Hoover. Remember, do not accept a Hoover. For those of you who this is the first video you're consuming, a Hoover is when the narcissist is trying to draw you back into the relationship for a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, or it's when they're testing the pulse of you, figuring out if you saw behind the mask, if you're strong enough to go no contact, if you're strong enough not to accept a bite of the forbidden fruit, which means you don't respond to them, you don't do anything. You look at them as weak and hollow and shallow, and you look at them as the inferior one, because that's what they are. The thing is, the narcissist is such a master manipulator that they brainwash people. They have people believing that they need the narcissist. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could have been further from the truth. The narcissist needs people, and at one point they needed you. But you don't need them. You never have needed them, ever. But that's how they're so good at manipulating people into believing that. They are a snake oil salesperson, and many times they come in a shiny package, but inside of them there's nothing. There's nothing to their core. There's no responsibility. There's no accountability. There's no introspection. There's no growth. All you have in there is something that's rotten from the core, and the outside perhaps was looking good at one point. But again, remember, the narcissist, over time, they become the aging narcissist, and the aging narcissist is not, and I repeat, not a pretty sight to see. And that's what happens to these people towards the ending part of their lives, meaning the last chapter of their lives, or last couple chapters. They find out that their own kids don't want anything to do with them. All their romantic relationships have figured out who they are, and they've blocked them, and they've moved continents away. Their friends finally deduced who they were, and they want nothing to do with them. Their business has dried up. Their health is ailing. Their looks are fading. Their financial support is disappearing. And this is what happens because the narcissist always overplays their hand. They always shoot themselves in the foot, and they always think that they can get out of any situation that they get themselves into. The interesting thing about the narcissist is they want chaos. They want confusion. They want drama. They would much rather go out in a hurricane, gale wind, thunder, lightning storm at 10 o'clock at night when they can barely see 30 yards in front of their car to get a bottle of water from a store that's 10,000 kilometers away, rather than wait till the next morning till the storm has passed and go right down the street and drive 10 miles and get that same bottle of water in perfect sunshine weather. You see, they like the disruption. They like the danger. They like the thrill. They like the chase. They like the possibilities. But what they also like is breaking boundaries. And what they also like to do is break relationships. They want to decimate anybody that enters a relationship with them, which includes their own children, their own parents, their spouses, their people in communities and or hobby groups, their organizations, their business associates, their customers. The narcissist doesn't care about much. What they do care about is themselves and money. And that's it. And that's interchangeable. Money actually could be at the top of that list. But what the narcissist doesn't care about is breaking boundaries. They didn't care about breaking boundaries when you were in the relationship. They certainly don't right now with the new supply, and they won't in the future with the new supply. But what was the final boundary that was broken that ended that relationship? Did you call them out? Did you say, hey, I think that something's off here. I'm not being treated properly. Did you say, hey, I didn't sign up for this? Did you say, hey, the money's running really low? Like when we got together and we got married, I had a whole bunch of money saved up, remember? And I had a 401k, remember? And I had no credit card debt, remember? And right now I've got a mountain of credit card debt. My 401k is empty and I have no money and I'm about to lose my job. If you said something like that to the narcissist, what are they gonna do? They're not gonna say, you know what? I think I understand. I'll pitch in now and I'll help out and I'll save us. And I'll work hard and I'll get us back on track and I'll pay the credit card debt and I'll put a roof over our head. I'll pay you back for all of the support that you've given us over the years. No, they're not gonna do that in a million years. They're gonna say, perfect, you just gave me the game plan. Now I can discard you when I'm ready. Again, I'll get the new supply lined up, or somebody with a lot of money. I'll claim the victim, or I'll blame you, or I'll paint a picture of why you were the abuser, etc. And I'll just discard you whenever I'm ready. That's what they do. That's why the cycle goes around and around. And the one constant in the cycle, it's not you, it's the narcissist. And they know it, and I know it, and now you know it. That's why you need to run for the hills when you're in these relationships and you've identified it. That's why you have to pay attention to red flags, trust your instincts, and trust your intuition. That's why you should, and I strongly suggest you do this, you write a pro-con list down about the person you are and or were thinking about. In other words, what benefited you out of that relationship, or maybe it's a current relationship, what benefits you about the current relationship, and what doesn't. That's the pro-con list. It will open your eyes. When you do that with the narcissistic relationship, you really understand that the pro list, if it exists at all, it is minuscule. And the con list is longer than a giraffe's how tall a giraffe is. Maybe not the best example, but you get it. There will be pages and pages of the con list if you're absolutely authentic and genuine with yourself. But again, what was the catalyst that broke the camel's back? What was the catalyst? What was the last boundary that the narcissist crossed? Maybe it was that you just called them out and said, you know, I've been paying for gas in your car, and I've been paying for your cell phone bill, and I've been paying for the electricity, and I've been paying for the food and everything, and it'd be nice if you'd contribute a little bit, because you're making 3 times the amount of money I'm making, and you claim that you don't have money, and I can't quite figure it out because all my money is going right down to all of our living expenses, and I don't have anything, and I can't even pay for my medical bills these days, so would you help out? And if you told them something like that, it would make complete sense to an honest, authentic, genuine person, but not to the narcissist. They're going to say, wow, you really are hurting. You are hurting, not we're hurting, you're hurting. So that's going to give them the green light to kick the new supply, to step them up in weight class and discard you. There are so many layers upon layers of the onion to be peeled back post-narcissistic relationship. Remember, the further you get away from the narcissist and the relationship, the more clarity returns to your mind, the more your health will return, your finances will return, your network of people or friend groups or status hobbies will return. Everything will return back to you, but it won't happen overnight. It will take time. It will take a lot of time. But as you get further and further away from the narcissist, things do return. That's why so frequently many of us have to relocate cities, towns, states, countries, continents. We have to do that because we need a fresh start. We need to get as far away from the toxicity as we possibly can. And if you have that ability, I strongly suggest you consider it. Then again, post-narcissistic relationship, it's not one size fits all. What may work for you may not work for somebody else. But the one constant, remember, is we all experience triangulation. We all experience rage fits. We all experience verbal abuse, projection, mirroring, blame shifting, gaslighting, stonewalling, the silent treatment, triangulation, if I didn't say that already. We experience these things. The thing is, we didn't know what these definitions were, but now we couple those experiences we have with the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, and that equals wisdom. That's why all of our stories or experiences are similar but not the same. But the one constant thread in there is the narcissist. And the narcissist can come at you in any shape, size, color. They can speak any language. They can be from any part of the planet. That's why you need to understand going no contact and blocking these people is the path. Understand it. Play this video a few times. Pay it forward. Utilize it as a tool to help insulate and protect yourself. But there was a boundary that was crossed. And most likely, you probably did something that you thought was not even a blip on the radar. But that's all it took to light the flame for the narcissist to discard you or to end it. Because the narcissist was waiting in the wings, watching you, watching your health deteriorate, watching your money go to zero, watching your relationships blow up, watching you working for them. They were watching your life implode, and they lit the match to implode your life from the minute they met you. Now, you may say for a minute there, well, wait, in the beginning of the relationship was great. That love bomb / euphoric stage, that lasted for a year, maybe longer. It was incredible. Yeah, I'm sure it was. It doesn't change the fact it was with a toxic person. And you can't only look at the love bomb / euphoric stage and say, wow, it was really worth it. It wasn't worth it at all. Not even for a second. Because 1 minute of abuse, 1 minute of toxicity, 1 minute of the smear campaign, 1 minute of gaslighting, 1 minute of triangulation is not worth anything during the love bomb / euphoric stage. You really need to understand that the narcissist they're playing mental jujitsu with people's minds. They are manipulating people. They're keeping them stuck and tricked and trapped in the narcissistic fog. That's why you need to get away from these people as fast as you possibly can. That's why you need to go no contact. That's why you need to elevate and ascend high to where you absolutely elevated and ascended naturally. That's why you're a beautiful, bright, shining light. That's why the narcissist is a piece of gum beneath your shoe, because they needed an energy source. They can't get through life without other people. They need multiple smartphones. They need to change the mask. They need to relocate every couple of months or years. They need to change relationships up to make themselves feel important and valuable. That's why there's no such thing as sustainability in a narcissistic relationship. That's why they go on like so effortlessly, like they didn't even care about people, because they have a new toy to play with. They have a new shiny object, i.e. the new supply. And at one point that was you, and it certainly was me. But that's not what we are. We're not the narcissist. We're loving, stable, healthy, kind, beautiful, bright, shining lights. The narcissist saw this. They saw everything that we possessed, and they wanted it for themselves. And they were just waiting for us to put a boundary up. They were just waiting for us to call them out. They were just waiting for us to say one thing, and then they would end it like that, as if they didn't care. Because why? Because they didn't care. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. God bless you all. I love you. Understand the message. There was a boundary, and that one boundary that you put up, or maybe the last boundary you tried to put up or you did put up, that's all it took for the narcissist to end the relationship if you were discarded, because they were waiting for you to do something just like that. They were biding their time. They were grooming the new supply, etc. Now flip it. Let's say that you put up a boundary and then you ended it yourself because you were strong enough to end it on your own. And if you were, my heart still goes out to you. You're an incredibly strong human being. But if you did that, again, there was a boundary that you put up that wasn't being adhered to, and the narcissist knew that, so you ended it yourself. Either way you cut it, either way you slice it, something happened, something broke in that relationship. And the reason why that relationship ended with a thud, a crash, a bang, and the reason why you didn't get closure is because you were in a toxic narcissistic relationship. This is the relationship you need to heal from. You can't just go on to another romantic interest or build a new friendship or trust people immediately. It will take time to heal. You need to process things. You need to journal, meditate, watch videos, write. You need to understand that slowing your life down and protecting yourself is the path. That's why you should be in the cocoon of boundaries if you weren't already. That's when you insulate and self-isolate. And there's a big difference between self-isolating and being isolated. When you're being isolated, that's when the narcissist is driving a wedge between you and anything that matters to you. When you're self-isolating, it's because you don't want to communicate with many people on the exterior because you're healing. And that's just one little sliver of the onion to be peeled back. I love y'all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. And yes, I said y'all. Y'all. Bye.